do this. Team, on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. And today we've got a woman that I am in deep and utter respect for. She's my friend first and foremost, but more importantly, she is one of my business mentors. One of the reasons that this academy is decently successful. This is Miss Janelle Will. Say hello, Janelle.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Guys, I want to give you some forewarning about Janelle. Sometimes she's like brutally blunt, and she makes things so dumbly simple that they're almost too simple that my natural reactions to want to it's got to be more complicated than that and prod her. So if her answers sometimes just seem really, really short and simple and blunt, it's not because she's disinterested. She's literally just trying to simplify everything. And given how incredibly successful this woman is, and we don't necessarily need to talk about the depths of that, simplicity scales, right, Janelle?
It does. 1000%.
I remember you were one of the things when I asked you just to review some of my content, and you looked at it for like 2 minutes, and then you just wrote back, Jace, you're not giving enough value. Start giving value. No one cares. And I was like, oh, wow. So totally brutal. So guys, for those of you that don't know Janelle, I'm just going to ask Janelle if you can just give us a little context for the conversation. Give us like age, fam, background, where you live, any conditions, so that we've properly set the scene.
All right. So I'm Janelle. I am turning 50 in October. I have 2 kids. One's 18, just graduated. One's 15, and she has a neurological brain disorder. So she's disabled. I have a husband who we are celebrating 26 years together on the 13th, and our 19 years being married on the 22nd. Wow. So yes, love of my life. I used to weigh 750 pounds, and I've lost over 400 pounds. I am an online fitness coach, and I have other business ventures that I do, and I also do business coaching mentorship. So I do all the things. I'm freaking busy.
You're just so you got so many leather-bound books and like couches and stuff like that, right? And just so freaking modest. But let's go back to what you just said. 750 pounds at the top, and lost over what? How much?
Over 400 pounds now, yeah.
400 pounds. Wow.
460 now.
Wow. Okay. This question is completely unscripted. I'm going to put you on the spot. You said yesterday or the day before when we spoke, you said Connor, your husband, shouldn't have let you get that big. And then you retracted the statement. So I've actually said it publicly here. I hope I'm not in the shit. What did you mean by that?
So a lot of times when people love you, who are your closest people, they're afraid to say the real shit to you. They're afraid to say the things that they need to say to you. And this is my thinking, if he loved me that much, he would have said something, but this was fully my responsibility. Like he wasn't taking McDonald's and shoving it down my throat. He wasn't secret eating. He wasn't buying the food, like all that stuff. So I can't blame him at all. I have to take full responsibility for what I did. Right. So, but he should have said something to the effect of, hey, and his thing is like, I always saw you every single day. So I didn't really notice as much. And then just odd times it would she can't fit in this. She can't do this. She can't walk this far. And, I was always on the diet train of, I probably spent over $50,000 on different shakes, pills, programs, all that type of stuff.
Right.
To try to lose the weight. But then I would lose like 30 pounds and gain back 60. And so he was so used to me failing, he just stopped trying. Because I'd shown him that I never follow through with anything. I never go to the level. I never keep going. I always give up and then try the new thing. We've been through juice cleanses, being vegan. The poor guy's been through hell.
Yeah. Yeah. And isn't that like a testament to your marriage, right? And I think that's like, this is where I think from what I've seen, it's lucky you guys have survived that. Because what happens in a lot of marriages that I've seen is that when one person decides they've had enough and they decide to move forward, and then the other person's by default, even though they're still in the same spot, they feel left behind. And so then it's like, becomes about me. Is there something wrong with me? Is she getting fit for me? Is that it's like, oh shit, then we enter a turmoil, right?
Oh, Jace, a lot of people just assume that I was overweight my whole entire life, and I wasn't. I was 160, 180 pounds when I met Connor.
Really?
And that was kind of my base weight. That's where I always, I would be like 160 pounds in the summer. And then during the winter, I would gain that 20 pounds, be kind of fluffy. And, and then in the spring, I would lose that 20 pounds and, do that cycle over and over again. Right. And then it was really a pivotal moment that rocked my entire world, where I just lost it and ate everything, anything and everything that wasn't nailed down.
Is that a good segue into what that pivotal moment was? Because like to go from 180 to 750, like that's a hell of an increase. Like, how does that?
Yeah, and it was pretty quick. Like, it just didn't happen overnight. Like, it didn't happen in like over a course of 10 years. It happened in a pretty much 4-year time span.
Wow.
So yeah. I was talking to my dad earlier in the morning. We were talking about like all the plans we were going to do for the day, all that kind of stuff. We were working together at the time. Like, I was working for his trucking company, that kind of thing. And so we probably spoke at about 11 a.m. and by 1 p.m. he is dead. So he just dropped dead of a massive heart attack. Just rocked my world. I'd never had anybody die like that. Like, I never had anything like that. And, people are like, oh, why didn't you go to therapy? I didn't understand what I was supposed to do. And for me, the first probably 2 weeks after he passed, I didn't come out of my bedroom, like, at all. Mm-hmm. I just stayed in my bedroom. I would come out to go to the bathroom and I would go back in. I didn't eat. I didn't talk. I wouldn't say words. I just didn't know how to deal with anything. And then when I finally got out of that part of it, I started to find comfort in food. I started to find like, oh, I don't feel sad when I eat this. Mm-hmm. I don't feel so upset anymore. So I'm going to eat this. And it started with like just bigger portions. And then it was like, oh, I'm going to go get fast food because I don't feel like cooking. I just can't even function with my emotions. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to run this company that's slowly going into the ground because he did everything and I don't understand it. And it was just, everything was piling on top of me. So I started to go through drive-thrus, like not once a day, like 6 times a day. I started hiding food. It was brutal. Like, to the point, like, I was spending probably close to $1,000 a month on fast food, not including the groceries that I would buy, not including like if me and Connor went out for dinner.
How do you explain that? Like, were you legitimately hungry, or was it this just become this radical escape?
I was never hungry, ever. I was just, anytime I'd feel any type of emotion, I had to numb it.
And did you consciously know that that's what you were doing, or did it just become
I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew exactly. I planned it. I was methodical about it. And I remember having a secret bank account so Connor couldn't see all the takeout that I was buying. And I would do like odd jobs and stuff and create income so I could have it to eat.
Fuck. If you're listening to this podcast, guys, live, and you want to ask anything as we're talking here, just like feel free to pop it in the comments. One of the context to which this conversation come about was one of the ladies put a post up into our group, and I said to her, I looked and I was reading it over and I'm like, Janelle, how is it that this doesn't happen to you? Like, why am I having this happen on repeat? And your basic sense was because you're tolerating that, you're allowing that in your community. And of course, the way that you are right, absolutely. And the way that I have justified that is because I never know a person's story. Mm. So for example, you and I are decently close as our relationship, but I had no idea that happened to you so many years ago. So my fear has always been saying the wrong thing to the wrong person, and then publicly them going, "You fucking cunt, you don't know anything about me," right? How does one contend with that? The kind of reply that you got back was some sense of like, there needs to be some empathy, but then also they need to hear what they need to hear.
Yeah, because so many people in their life aren't saying anything. And you're the one person that they come to. Like any woman that's listening to this, you all know we make 6,000 decisions a day. And when you get Jace telling you to do this workout and do these things, it's like almost like an instant relief because you have someone who's telling you what to do and you don't have to make those decisions. And so it's almost like, oh my God, Jace. So when someone comes to you, Jason says, I'm struggling, blah, 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 they don't want you to fix it. They want you to hear them. Everybody in their life is trying to fix it, but nobody's listening. Nobody's hearing them. Nobody's giving them actual, like, just fucking stop doing that. Like, you need to like live. You're in this place where like, if you go on this trajectory and let's just say you gain 2 pounds a month, over the next 6 months, that's 14 pounds on your body. Think about your knees, your back, like all that type of stuff. If anybody would have said that to me, I would have been like, oh, okay. So there's actually like physical things that are going to happen. It wasn't until later on when I became diabetic, when I had all these heart issues, when I had all these different things that happened, that doctors were finally saying to me, this is do or die. Like, you're going to die. And then once that was kind of like in my brain, I was like, okay, like, I really need to fix this.
So I was having a conversation privately with one of our clients, and she's been with us for a good long time. One of the struggles that she has is she's 40, mid-40s, and even still, the threat of dying hasn't, like, whether it's not palpable enough, like whether it's not real enough, because I'm still 40, like like it's probably not going to happen. And then all of a sudden, to the odd person, it does, and it starts at insulin resistance, it progresses diabetes, and goes that way. How do you contend with the idea that someone's just like not scared of death? Is it that we're being naive?
At that point, though, it's not about you anymore. Yeah. Like, you're going to die, and everybody that comes to your funeral is now the person that you've left an impact to live without you now. Like, you're thinking about yourself, but what about your mom, your aunt, your sister, your daughter, your cousins, like all of those people who now have to live without you because you made the choice to overeat? Like, it's not like you got cancer and you went through this like thing and you passed away from a disease. Obesity is a disease, but it's curable. Like, it is curable. And when people say it's not, they're fucking lying to yourself. Like, it is curable. It is one of the things that you can actually take your life back, but you have to want it. Nobody can drag you on your journey. Like, Jace, you and your clients, you carry 50 bricks, they carry 50 bricks. Nobody carries 51. Right? That's the relationship. But if they're thinking that you're going to carry all the bricks and they only have to carry like 20, well, that's not the relationship that's going to work for them. Dying has to be like, yes, it's the last thing that is the last resort, but it's also the first thing that you have to think about when you think about your family, when you think about the people around you. Like, those people have to live in that aftermath. My dad died at 46 years old, dropped out of a massive heart attack. Like, 46 years old is fucking young. None of the men in his family have lived past 50. Like, that's huge. So,
wow.
Yeah, dying doesn't impact
and just 50 years is not like, women live longer than men, but we're generally living to about 75, 80 now as men. Yeah. Like, that's young. So you gave us the rock bottom moment of when the weight went on. What was the kind of come to Jesus moment when, and I love that you said that the other day, come to Jesus. Totally, you're not religious, are you? But anyway, what turned that away? What turned that around?
So when I went to a doctor's appointment, and they basically said, you're going to die. And I was so sad. I was so upset. I I thought, well, it would be easier if I was dead. Then Connor wouldn't have to look after me. My son could, him and my son could rebuild this life. So I made a plan. I made a plan of how I was going to die, when I was going to die. I wrote a 6-week manifest for Connor so he could live for 6 weeks, how to grocery shop, how to do everything. And so I took Lucas and we went grocery shopping, and I bought him all of his favorite treats and snacks and toys and everything. And we got back and I took him out of the car seat and put him down. And I turned around to get my purse and he was gone. I couldn't see him. It's dark. It's October. It's raining. We live on this really busy highway. And out of the corner of my eye, I see a little blonde hair and a blue jacket. Now, he's a toddler. He's almost 4 at this point. So he doesn't listen. He's like this full of energy little kid. And he saw something and started running towards the highway. So I drop everything and I start to run. But at 750 pounds, every single step was like 1,000-pound weight. And I start to go about a quarter of the way and I dropped to my knees because I thought I was having a heart attack. And I just watched him. I watched him run towards the road. And my dog jumped the fence, grabbed him by the back of the jacket, pulled him back into the driveway as a semi truck went by. And that was like the flash, his life, my life, Connor's life, our life as a family flashed before my eyes. And I was just like, I want to live. I want to fucking live. And I crawled to him and I grabbed him and I grabbed my dog and I just held on to him in the driveway sobbing. And he, of course, doesn't understand what's going on. The dog is like running around in circles and stuff. And I'm just like holding him, like grabbing him by the chest. And I'm like, I'm going to live. I'm going to live for you. I'm going to live for you. And I got up and, well, I didn't really get up. I had to like kind of crawl and drag him with me and then find something that I could help myself up. I got him in the house and I was like, okay, I'm going to start calling gyms. I'm going to start calling trainers. I'm going to start phoning people to help me. And no one would help me. Gyms kept saying, I'm sorry, but you're a heart attack risk. We can't take someone your size. You can't even fit on a treadmill. Trainers were like, I'm sorry, I'm just not, this is out of my scope of practice. Like, I can't take you on. It's too much of a risk. No gym will let me bring you in there, blah, blah, blah. It was no after no after no. And then finally this girl, Nikki, she had just got her personal training license. She built a gym in her basement. And she said, if you can get down my stairs, I can help you. And so every morning I would get up at 5 a.m. Our appointment was at 6. And I worked out with her 3 days a week. So I would get out of bed. I would rock myself out of bed. My feet would be killing. Everything would be healing. But I knew I had this appointment. I had to go. If I was going to live, I had to go to this appointment. It would take me almost an hour to get to her, into the car, to her house, up her stairs, all the way down to her basement, sit on a bench, catch my breath for like 15 minutes, work out with weights in a chair because I couldn't stand, work out with weights in a chair, and then have to do that whole climb again and get back to home. So this was about a 2-hour process for me every single time that we had an appointment, and I never missed. I never missed an appointment. I went every single time because that vision of Lucas was in my brain all the time. Every minute that I made a choice to eat, I made a choice to take steps. And I mean, like, we're talking like, oh, just go for a walk. That wasn't what it was. It was like, okay, I can take steps off the porch. Tomorrow, I'm going to take it off the porch and start to go to the car. Then I'm going to make it past the car and I'm going to go to the driveway. Then I'm going to go to halfway to the driveway, three-quarters of the driveway. Then I'm going to make it to the end of the driveway. Then there's those cement pads. I'm like, I'm going to do 2 of those today. I'm going to do 3 of those today. Like, that's what my life was.
I'm trying to think about when I pick my boy up and I pick my daughter up, and I just think about like not being here with them, like, or if something happened to them, and I can never understand why. I can never understand of what it feels like to be overweight because I've never been overweight. And like hearing that is just like, fuck. Just feeling so helpless.
Yeah.
I can't. And almost like watching it happen.
Most people would have given up when gyms started saying no, but I was like, someone's going to help me. I can feel it in my whole body. Someone's going to help me. And she helped me. And within a year, I lost 100 pounds. Then it was another 100 pounds. And then I kind of went through like a whole, like, had to like figure out, like, I would gain like 30, lose 60, and kind of like back and forth, back and forth. And then about 5 years ago, I got like really, really serious about, like, it was no longer just like a weight loss journey. It was like, this is like my life now. Like, I really, it clicked for me that this is a lifestyle. Like, I have to do this every single day. I remember saying to her one time, I'm like, okay, so when do I get to eat normal? And she's like, Janelle, what you were eating is not fucking normal. She's like, that's not how normal people eat. This is how normal people eat. And that was like a light bulb moment for me.
Wow.
I was like, oh, like, I'm the problem here, but I'm also the solution. Like, okay, I get it.
I had a bunch of questions to like just run with on like quick fire, but like, how did you deal on the days that you were like, surely there was times when, despite the event with your son, that you just like, this is too hard.
Every day's hard.
Yeah, I'm aware. And then we can use quotes like choose your heart and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, if I'm, let's say, 500 pounds and I'm laying in bed and I'm just like, I can't get out. I can't get up today. I can't do today, because this becomes as much a mental, I'm guessing 20 times more mental than it is physical. So how when that hits, like,
it's every day, it's every minute, it's every step was the hardest thing that I ever had to do that day. But I would say to myself over and over and over again, Janelle, you can quit tomorrow, but you can't quit today. You just got to make it through today. You can quit tomorrow. And I've been saying that every single day since this all started.
What I love about that is I think that, and it's kind of justification to why New Year's resolutions are generally an issue for people, is they set these really long-term goals that just overwhelm the fuck out of them. It's kind of like when I think about alcohol, people are big drinkers and they're like, I've got to stop drinking. It's like, you don't. You need to not have a drink today, and then not have a drink tomorrow when it's tomorrow, and build momentum that way. How important is like the creation of momentum? Like, how important is that? Is like do you almost feel like when there's been periods of time when you've just, the brakes have been on and it's like hard to start again?
Oh yeah, for sure. For me, it was a lot of habit stacking. So I really realized in the very beginning of my journey that I couldn't be all or nothing. Like, I had been all or nothing with everything else that I had tried. The shakes, the pills, the programs, the whatever. And I really realized, I'm like, if I want to take this seriously, I have to habit stack. I can't just do all or nothing. I have to do what I can right now in this moment and build momentum from there. Like, so and I had to keep thinking about, like, not what I couldn't do, but what I can do. So every day was like, well, I couldn't do this. I can't do this. I blah, blah, blah. I can't blah, blah, blah. No. That was just like, that's just already happening. That's what it is. What can I do? I can't stand up for longer than 5 minutes, then I sit in a chair and work out. I can't stand up and meal prep. I drag a fucking chair into the kitchen and I meal prep. Like, I can't go grocery shopping. I figure out who's going to Costco to get me groceries and bring them in and thank them and make them dinner and, do whatever I had to do. Like, I made sure, like, no matter what was going on, what can I do to move the needle forward today? What can I do to get this weight off? There's so many things that I couldn't do, but I had to focus on what I could do.
One of the, like, I've come to understand where my lane starts and stops. I'm not a therapist or a psychologist. Got a good mindset, but it stops at that. You can't create that in someone in a minute. At what point do you think it's okay? Two questions. Did you engage therapy at any point in the process, or some sort of psychology? And at what point should a person do it?
I really engaged with therapy when I realized that I kept yo-yoing back and forth. Like, I was like, do all the things, but then an event would come up, like a birthday or a anniversary or whatever, we would do something, and then the overeating would start again, and then I'd be like, oh, I'll just start again on Monday. And that was like a big thing. Like I needed to figure that out, and I knew that there was a root issue. I didn't want to face it. And so I was like, if I really want to take this seriously and make this like my life and like really take back my life, I need external help.
Right.
So I went to therapists, I went to life coaches. I still go to therapy 2 times a week. I went in the early days, I went to Overeaters Anonymous. That was really helpful for me because they taught me tools in my day to like help with thought models and, you know,
yeah, that's
like,
what I was going to say. What's the basic thing that you get from therapy? In my non-therapied mind, it's kind of like I'll get some frameworks or some tools. I'll have the ability to actually just get this off my chest and actually start talking. Is that the idea behind it?
the therapist goes deep on like the childhood shit and like the trauma and that kind of thing. A life coach calls you on all the bullshit that you're doing now. And like the Overeaters Anonymous have like a model, like almost like an AA type model where they're working through like, you know, this is something that you're going to battle for the rest of your life and giving you the tools to cope. Therapy is where I have most of, like, I don't love it. It's not my favorite thing to do. But it's where I face a lot of the shit that I go through. And life coaching, I hire a life coach usually once a year to go through like 6 to 16 sessions to really call me on like the BS that I've been putting on myself. Like,
okay, let's just return to a few quick fire questions. So with your Crohn's, when did that come in? And do you think that was anyway a consequence of the lifestyle you'd been living or just genetically a chance?
So it's hereditary. Crohn's is hereditary, but I didn't know I had it until I turned 40. It was 2016, and we were actually moving into this house. And the day we moved in, I got really sick to the point like I was going to the bathroom like 30 times in a day over the course of 4 days. I didn't know what was going on, and anytime I ate something, it felt like I was swallowing razor blades, and like something was wrong. I went to the hospital. They admitted me. They're doing test after test after test, and they come back and they're like, you have Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, and it's bad. And I'm like, oh, well, what the fuck is Crohn's and colitis? And then my aunt had it. So I kind of knew about it, but she never really talked about it.
Right.
So then I knew where it stemmed from.
Right.
And then I really started to research and dial it in. What I found with Western medicine is they just wanted to like cut out everything, give you meds, give you painkillers, and have you live this like crazy sedated lifestyle. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I found a naturopath, and I've been literally working with him since 2016. And he's saved my life. Like within 9 days, he had me back functioning and stuff like that. His name's Drew Jameson. He's fucking amazing. And he really like we took the time and like came up with a plan that also fit my weight loss plan. So like it was a lot of trial and error at first, but now I've been in remission for a long time, actually, until
earlier this year. We can probably move over that, I reckon. Did you so putting myself in the person's place who's embarrassed to ask for help or embarrassed to kind of get started, what did you do when you walked into a gym? Like, how did you contend with that? Because that's something that our ladies face particularly, and even our men.
It's funny. I just did a story about this morning because we went to a new gym and this morning, and I said to Connor, I'm like, I'm having anxiety. He's like, what the fuck are you having anxiety?
Because people don't know your story.
Yeah. They don't know my story, right? So I'm like, well, I'm going to be the biggest person in the gym. He's like, what? I'm like, you don't experience that. You're 6'5" and weigh like 200 pounds and you look fucking amazing. You're jacked as shit. I'm like, I don't look like that. So everybody in our old gym has seen me multiple times, so they're desensitized to it. But when I walk into this gym, nobody knows who the fuck I am, and they're going to be staring at me, and I got to deal with those a couple days until they get used to it and whatever. He's like, are you sure that's not a you thing? And I'm like, no, it's a thing that obese people deal with. And we have this, like, there's a club that we are in that people, they treat us differently. There's a stigma. There's like this thing, and like only obese people see it. So we know like when people are staring at us and when they're making comments about us and that kind of stuff. I really don't give a fuck what you think about me. Your opinion of me means fuck all. Like it doesn't pay my bills. It doesn't bring any value to my life. So I don't really care. But I do have anxiety about it, like every once in a while. And I watch
So you
the
do care.
gym.
So you do.
I do care that people stare and like I just want to like, hey, just so you know, like I've been on a weight loss journey, but they're gonna find me on Instagram anyway. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, how do you you've got a very strong mindset, and to the person who is on chapter 1 of their mindset work, like I can't imagine. So what would you tell to a woman? What would you say? Would you say, look, just fucking walk in, or would you go down the line of saying, look, start training at home, build some confidence, and gradually desensitize into it? Like, what would you suggest is the best route?
I think if you're just starting out and home workouts feel good for you, then yes. But if you really want to make strides in your body and changing everything, you need to walk into the gym, not only for the physical aspect, but for the emotional aspect. You need to take up space. You're allowed to.
Bang.
And
how important has strength training actually been in your transformation?
Well, I couldn't do any cardio at all for years because I have arthritis in my shoulders, back, knees from being so heavy that like all I could do was strength train, and most of it was in a seat, like on some type of bench.
Yes. Yeah. So you've obviously lost hundreds of pounds, and I think this is the most interesting question to me. How do you deal with like the inner critic from like even now help like making you feel like a fraud or whatever, particularly as like a fitness coach or even a business coach? How do you deal with that component?
So her name's Beatrice. She's the bitchy roommate that lives in my head, and she's the one that tells me. Yeah. Right. She's the one that constantly tells me I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I don't deserve this. And she's the one that rears her ugly head, and I have to kill her every time that she does. Right. But it's not always the easiest thing to do. It's a lot of actual like looking at, like the other day I said to Connor, I'm like, I'm really snacky. He's like, are you snacky? I'm like, actually, you know what? I just really need to talk this out. Like, I'm avoiding a situation. I need to talk this out and get this out of my brain. And I wasn't hungry.
Right. Yeah. Isn't that so weird? So I'm doing a cut at the moment, and it's just so strange how the mind works, right?
Yeah.
And I'm able to kind of catch myself in the moment. Like I'll walk upstairs and I'll just like put the kettle on to pour another coffee. And then I'm like, oh, I might just go and have a banana. And I'm just so used to just doing that out of automation because I can eat at that calorie level. But then I've got to stop myself and go, hang on. Just because it's healthy, that doesn't mean I need it. Right? Yeah. It is healthy and it's not going to kill my gains, but it's like the banana, the protein bar, the thing that, you know? So tell us about why did you do the bodybuilding show? Like, and so for the guys here, they won't know that you did that. So what did you do and then why?
Okay. So there is a show called Summer Shredding.
I mean, just like the name of the show, it's like Summer Shredding. Like, imagine I said to you ladies that are watching this, I was like, guys, I challenge you to compete in a thing this year called Summer Shredding, and you'd all collectively go, fuck you, Jason. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. So it's it's a bodybuilding show, but they have a division called Transform, and it's all about weight loss, people who have transformed their lives.
Right.
I actually was asked by different people, like, are you going to do transformation vision? I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck this is. So Patrick McGinnis, he was my coach at the time, and he's like, hey, there's this show. Do you want to do this show? And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you get in a bikini, you get a tan, you do all that. I'm like, but I'm not. He's like, it doesn't matter what size you are. He's like, this is like a pivotal moment in your life. He's like, step on that stage. And I'm like, okay. So I did. I prepped like a normal bodybuilder. I did the hours of cardio. I did the very low calories. I did all the things. And I went on stage at my weight and showed off my saggy skin and all this kind of stuff. And Jay's bodybuilders that like our true bodybuilders were cheering me on and like giving me all the props. And those fucking trolls hate me. Like absolutely. If you go to my Instagram and you look at this one reel that I have about me on stage, it is just hate. Like absolute hate, and how disrespectful it is to the sport. Dude, it's not that deep. Like I went into the transformation. I didn't fucking do bikini or wellness or whatever. I did the transformation. Like settle down.
Wow. Oh man, I'm just thinking like even for committing to that for any person is just like that's a big deal. Let alone
I can do it again. I can do it in 2026.
So, did you feel like, for me, that my version of that was going skydiving? I was crippled by fear by it for 30 years, and then one day I did it. Did you feel like on the other side of that there was some answers, or it just wasn't that deep? It was just like did you grow a bit off the back of that? I guess is what I'm asking.
Oh yeah, like I was scared shitless to do it.
Yeah,
but I knew that if I did it, so many other women would have the inspiration, the motivation, okay, I can do something hard in my life. Like I can do something that's super, like I've been dreading asking my boss for a raise. I've been wanting to wear a bikini just to the beach, like all that stuff. And I go in my big ass body in a tiny little bikini, all sparkly, and I walk on that stage and I peace out and I do my whole routine. And I just I'm doing this for every single woman that is here that wants that and needs it.
That's so good. Guys, as we run this up, pop into the comments any questions you've got, and I can definitely ask them as we get to a close. Just a few things. What is the most misunderstood thing that you think, having lived in a bigger body, what is it that people don't get? What is it that, inverted commas, skinny people don't understand or don't see?
I think the emotional eating, they don't understand it. Right. They don't understand how you can turn to food to cope. So they don't understand the feeling. Like what it is there's this internal turmoil going on inside yourself, and your brain is just like, it's almost like having like ADHD, but about food. So it's just, you're waiting for the next meal. Like that's all you can think about. Everything in your life revolves around, if I'm going to drive here, where can I get food? If I'm going to go here, where can I get food? What can I eat? So then it still looks like I'm having like lunch, but I want to eat right after lunch. How can I get another thing? Is someone going to see me in my car? Like emotional eating, food noise is like so prevalent in people in women, especially on a weight loss journey. And like, that is like something you can never explain to anybody except someone who's going through it. And it's such a hard thing to break. Like it is the most, like, I still struggle with it to this day, and I'm a coach, but like, I'm fucking honest about it. Like everything that I eat, I track the good, the bad, the ugly. I track it. I have a coach. He goes through my week and he's like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, Don, I was having a fucking day. Okay.
But isn't that great though, that you feel confident enough to say, look, it was one day. Yeah. And for most people, so they have the blowout day, whether it's a major blow or a minor blowout. And then as a consequence, they think, well, fuck it all then. And then it just becomes a full all out binge. It's like,
shame.
Yeah.
Right. And then a lot of people will lose a bunch of weight and then get really fucking scared that they lost a bunch of weight and sabotage them back up to not only the weight that they'd lost, but the weight and gain more weight, because owning that success is super fucking scary. Right. So if you do the thing where you lose the 30 pounds or 60 pounds or whatever it is, and people start complimenting you, first of all, that's very uncomfortable. That is people are looking at you, but now they expect you to keep that up. Well, that's a lot of fucking pressure on somebody. So it's like, it's more comfortable to sit back at that 60 pounds that they just lost because nobody noticed them. They were invisible.
Fuck, man. It's so deep, isn't it? And wow. I'm going to go to a couple of questions. Sure. Janelle, do you ever have the fear of going back to that place? A lot of the girls have this fear of being derailed and ending up back at square one.
Yeah, all the time. But my why is stronger than my want. So my why, my purpose for why I'm doing this is always the thing that keeps me going and makes me not want the cheeseburger, not want the fries, not want the sundae or whatever it is. Because I made a decision that day on the driveway in the rain that I would live for my son. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I live for him. I live for my daughter. You need to find your why. What is your why? What is, and it doesn't have to be this deep, obviously. It could be like, I just want to not have 16 pill bottles like my mom does on the fucking counter and I'm living out of them for the next 30 years. I don't want to be stuck in a recliner and not being able to move my body because I let everything atrophy and my muscles like not develop and not, have that thing. Whatever it is for you, like you have to figure out your why.
Love that. I think for a lot of people, it's when you ask them that they don't know, and it's kind of like, well, that's part of the issue. And
you do know. You just have to look around and actually be truthful with yourself. Because if your house is in chaos, your body is in chaos. If you're constantly stressed out at your job, why are you always stressed out, but everybody else seems to be fine?
Yeah.
You have some negative shit going on in your brain. It's always comes back to you.
One of the things, like, I think environment is so important in change. And I'm positive that, and I don't know if this sounds like a bad thing or not, but if I went into, let's just pretend that one of my mates was trying to give up drugs, right? And I went to his house and he had a cupboard of drugs there that he just said, oh, I'll lock that and I won't take it. I won't have it. I'll be like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what are you doing, man? Like, this is just temptation. You're making it infinitely harder having it available. I would think that it's the same thing with food. You got to look at your environment, and if you've got like the cupboard, do you have to do that? Do you have to keep it under wraps, or are you at the point where your willpower versus why type thing again is like your want versus why is strong enough that you can leave it there and not eat the entire pack? Or because I know that if I walk into I know that if I walk into half of my clients' houses that are saying, I just can't fucking start. Like, I just can't get moving. And then I'd walk in and be like, dude, you got beers everywhere. Like, of course you can't. Like, I wouldn't be able to resist all the chocolate and all that, like, when it's everywhere. I know there's some healthy balance, but is there some part of it which is like, there needs to be a hard line here around like a detox of my environment, both in the people perhaps who are enabling you and also the food.
You have to set boundaries with yourself. So we have a whole cupboard that is devoted to my kids. They have Oreo cupcakes and granola bars and fruit snacks and all the chips, all the shit. I just never touch it because I set a boundary with myself that if I go into that, first of all, I'm taking food away from my kids. Second of all, it doesn't bring me closer to any of the goals that I have. I don't need to be eating that stuff because it's what made me 750 pounds. Like, it made me 500 pounds. It made, you know what I mean? Like, that's only going to set me back. Why would I go backwards when all I wish, dream, and hope for is to be going forward all the time?
Do you feel like someone has to hit rock bottom before they can make a change?
No.
Or do you, okay, so how does a person initiate the change before they hit rock bottom?
They have to work on this. They have to be fucking honest with themselves. Like, why are you eating? It's not you're eating because of this, that, or the other thing. It's what are you avoiding? You're always avoiding something when you're eating because it's a coping mechanism. You need to face what you're avoiding. You're only going to feel it for like 8 seconds. And it's going to feel shitty, and then it's going to stop. So instead of stuffing, start feeling.
Fuck, that's so true, isn't it? Like, again, and I'm not relating this at, like, trying to be the overweight person, but I'm like, I'll go up, as I said, I might eat that banana. Wait a second. I'm not actually hungry. Okay, cool. It's like goldfish. It's like,
okay, but the difference there, Chase, is that you're not hungry. That's not what someone who has a weight issue would do. They're like, I want the banana. Okay, I'm going to walk out of the room. I'm going to think about the banana for the next 2 hours. I'm going to go back and look at the banana. Okay, well, I'll just eat a quarter of the banana. Okay, I'll just eat half of the banana.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to eat the banana. Oh, I'm going to go get peanut butter because peanut butter would be good on the banana.
Yes. And that's psychological, not genuine hunger. Yeah.
No.
At what point is that does that cross into, do you think, becoming defined binge eating disorder? Like what is that? I don't know if it's useful. I think a lot of people
That's more emotional eating. Binge eating is when you specifically have like an agenda. Right. You have an agenda to go get 3 burgers, 3 fries, a Diet Coke, a sundae, and you're in your car and you're eating it. And then you take the garbage, you throw it in a parking lot, garbage can. You you air out your car, you go home, and you bring in groceries and cook dinner from your family and sit down like nothing's happening.
Right, got it. So that's yeah, okay, that makes complete sense. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. So last question from one of the girls was, do you have new goals for yourself? And I'm thinking she means mostly physical. I would think, because as a businesswoman, I say that you're probably the most successful person I know. Yeah. Have you got new goals? Like, how do you, because I think that is a thing. I think that once you've become, and I see this with like people who, even myself first and foremost, but people who aren't crazily overweight at the start, they're very motivated because there's a pain. But when they've moved 10, 20 kilos away from that pain, the pain is not as loud anymore. And so the stimulus to act is also not as loud. So how do you keep yourself moving?
So everything used to be a weight goal. It was always about being this weight, doing this weight. And I found it stressed me out and gave me anxiety. So I stopped weighing myself, and I would only weigh in with my naturopath and my doctor. And they have a full record of all the weights that I've been. And I don't worry about weighing myself anymore. We have a scale somewhere in this house. I don't know where it is. I don't weigh myself anymore. I do measure myself. I take pictures daily, not weekly, daily. I have pictures of every single day. Because back at my heaviest, I would never take any pictures. Connor looked like a single dad. Now I take pictures every single day. My physical goals are to step on stage in 2026. So just since March till now, I'm pretty much down 70 pounds or something like that, from what my doctor told me. So I really want to look good on stage. I want to be the best version of myself. I turned 50 in October. My goal is to be fucking fabulous at 50. Like, I want all of the things that I've ever dreamed of. I want it to come true in 2025 and 2026. And
I was thinking about the questions I was going to ask you this morning as I was at the gym. And one thing that popped up, I was like, fuck, your face is young. Like, you really look young in the face. Like crazy young. Like babyface assassin. Oh man, I came up with a really good question a moment ago, and it was losing me. All right, well, this is really annoying me because I really wanted to ask you this. Anyway, I've forgotten it. The goldfish mind's kicked in. Team, if there is nothing more, here we go. Sorry. Another question. How do you actually bring the awareness to the mindset to not slip back? Outside of just why? Do you have visuals to remind you of your goals in a moment of like, feeling low? It's easy to just say, fuck it. So do you have like visual reminders around your house or on your phone and computers? Like, do you have prompts? What do you do to kind of keep yourself aware?
So I always have my vision board on my phone as my screensaver. So every time I open up my phone, it's the first thing I see. I also have conversations. I have really sweaty palm conversations with the people in my life because they have to be aware of the thoughts and the feelings that I'm having because they're my support network. If you don't have accountability and support, you can do the fitness part, you can do the nutrition part, but it's the accountability and support that you need. And so I have these really deep conversations with Connor. Like the other day, he brought home chips and he's sitting there and he's eating them on the couch. And I'm like, I love you to death. I'm like, I don't want any chips, but I'm just asking, like, is this bringing you closer to your goal? And he's like, no. I'm like, then why the fuck are you sitting down with a family-sized bag of chips? He's like, I just wanted the chips. I'm like, cool. I'm like, so if I brought home a bag of chips, what would you say to me? He's like, probably nothing. I'm like, that's the problem. I'm like, we have to be accountable to each other. And like, we have to like call each other on our bullshit. And so we had that sweaty palm conversation. I had a conversation with my kids the other day. I'm like, hey, does this stress you out that mommy talks about weight loss all the time? And they're like, no, they've grown up with it. I'm like, okay, cool. But, you know, with my body changing and I'm spending more time at the gym and I'm doing another prep, like they went through the last prep and that was fucking hard. I'm doing another prep. How do you guys feel? And Lucas goes, well, just like let me know when you're going to have like these meal prep days because your containers are fucking insane. Like, all these meal prep containers everywhere. He's like, it's fucking suck. He's like, it's nuts. And I'm like, well, do you you want to start meal prepping and stuff? He's like, no, I watch you guys eat out of Tupperware all the time. Like, it's pathetic.
Yeah. Isn't that like the point around like your partner? Hormozy has a quote that is along the lines of, it's the most important decision you make is the person you live your life with. It's like, holy fuck, it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think about all the ways that this could have gone wrong if Connor wasn't supportive.
Oh, it did. It did go wrong. When I started my weight loss journey and he realized that I was going to do this time, and I was starting to see a life coach, and I started saying to him, he's like, well, you're making me feel, and I remember I said to him, like, look stop, take your feelings back. I can't make you feel anything. That's a choice. You feel whatever you want to feel. I have nothing to do with that, and I'm not going to manage your feelings. He was like, what the fuck? She's never talked to me like this before. And I'm like, you either get on the same page with me, or we're going to have a conversation where we're no longer together.
But being able to have that conversation in the first place, both have it and receive it, is like, you know, because in a lot of relationships, it can just end up like ships in the night, right? You got kids to contend, you've got to get them to school, then you're going to get, like, I'm doing single parenting for a week at the moment. It's a fucking shit fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it can kind of get to that point where it's just like, so you don't talk, you don't understand each other. I can imagine how difficult that would be, is that when you do talk, it's like, there's a lot of friction and a lot of communication issues. And
there was in the beginning and I remember this was so horrible, Jace. I called him a feeder. I'm like, you're a fucking feeder. You bring home shit. And he's like, you trained me how to treat you. When you're sad, bring you cake. When you're mad, bring you chocolate. When you're happy, bring you more food. He's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, this is what you told me to do. He's like, and now I'm the asshole. And I'm like, okay, I have to like take responsibility for that. Like, I did train him how to treat me, and I did train him how to love me. Now we've got to break and flip the script, and that was really hard for us.
One of our best ever clients has commented, one of our guys, the essential truth: my why is stronger than my want. I love that. And knowing Nick, he will go and write that. This guy is 60 years young, lost 30 kilos, now running ultra marathons, and 2 years ago he struggled to kind of, you know, run to the shops type thing, and incredible change. Anyway, look, let's finish it on there. I could literally just keep chatting to you over and over and over and let this marinate in my mind. And guys, if you're listening to this podcast, I think that there's a few messages in this, one of which you need to hear really, really clearly. There's a responsibility that you've got to take here. And the way that Janelle framed it was, you carry 50 bricks, we'll carry 50 bricks. If you're starting to feel like, you know, it's not working, we're not the variable. Like, the people that you're admiring around you are in the same program as you, following the same meal plan, same training programs, Lucy, same basic protocol. If you feel like you're struggling, like, put your hand up and ask for some help, but understand that you got to first help yourself. Got Helen here saying, this is raw and so eye-opening. And one of the boys saying, so inspiring, Janelle, you just made us all go to the gym today. so a weekend for the boys. Hey, thanks so much. I know your time is super valuable, and I really appreciate you coming on to the podcast and sharing, Janelle. Thank you so much.
Anytime, I will come back.
Yeah, amazing. All right, guys, this has been the Better Body Academy podcast coming to you first thing this morning. I hope you're having a lovely start to the morning, evening, or afternoon, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.